Hi, welcome to the second video of Core Java. In this video, we are going to see about the program structure of the Java program, and we are going to see about the Java language elements. And we are also going to write some programs and execute the program and see the output. By this time, we should have loaded your NetBeans and you should have configured your Java language with JDK, etc. So let me go to the first slide and we'll start with the structure of a Java program. A Java program may contain many classes and also it may have one or more sections as given below. If you look at the right side, this is actually a Java program which is written, and now we are going to see about the document section here. So the first section which is mentioned here is going to be the document section, and this document section is going to be an optional one because we are going to have this is not going to be compiled by the Java compiler, that is your Java C will not compile this one. So this is only to give some information about this program, who was written, or who was what is the header file which is used, what are the properties, etc. Okay, so you can write anything you wanted here within this slash star and star slash, which is similar to, this is going to be a commenting property which we can use it in our program. Next section is going to be the packaging section, which is used to package more than one class, more than one sections, like more than one packages, like package and sub packages, etc. We are going to see about how we are going to package our Java program in the upcoming slides or upcoming videos. The third one is going to be the import statement, which is nothing but import java.util.scanner. I have written here. This is to use the scanner class in my program. So I have used the java.util.scanner. Okay, it is very similar to hash include in C or C++. Okay. Then comes to interface statement. Of course, the interface statement, interfaces are nothing but it is very similar to the class. We will be having more details about this interface, and we will also know about, we will also write some programs using this interface statement later in the videos. Next comes the class definition. The class which is being defined here is class to accept two numbers. Okay, so you have public static void here, and then we have the program returned here. So these are all the structure of a Java program: document section, packaging section, and you have import statements here, and you have interface statement. Of course, interface statement is not written in this program. We will see about this one in the future videos. And then next comes to the class definitions. Okay, so this is what I have explained here. A document section, as suggested, it is going to be useful for you to refer back to this program. Okay, so you can, it is very similar to C or C++. You can start with your comments by using this, and you can end with the comments by using this one. Whatever is there between these two comments, it will not be compiled by the Java compiler. So these lines will not be compiled by the Java compiler here. And packaging section, it is an optional one. A packaging is a mechanism for encapsulating the group of classes, interfaces, and subpackages. So this section package name will be given here. And this packaging usage, how to use this package and how to write a program by using how to write a program and package this one. We will come to the different videos. We will explain with the help of an example. An import statement, as I said, it is very similar to your hash include in C or C++. So here in Java we will be saying import. Next is interface. Of course, this interface is another type very similar to the class, and we will come to know about how to use the interface statement in the later classes. Then comes the class definition, and this class definition section we can declare n number of classes. And as I said, Java is a core object oriented programming language, so it uses minimum one class for inside any program, and that particular class will be having the main function, and that main function will be executed when the program is run. So the main method class, this is going to be available to you with the main function here, as I said before. Next, we will look into the Java program. A Java program can have many classes, but only one class will have main method. Conceptually, this is similar to the main function in C or C++. A main method in Java is the entry point for the core Java program. We are talking about, in core Java, the execution starts mainly from the main method only. So JVM will always look for a main method which is available in the Java class and then executes that. And JVM will always look for the main method which is similar to this format. It should be public static void main strings arg. So there are some arguments which you can pass it here. Okay, so it should be public function, and it should be static. It should be declared as a static, and then it should be void. It will not return any value, and then you have a main, and you have some arguments. So string args refers to it can have n number of arguments can be supplied to the main. Now let us look into deep inside this one. How do you identify that main is a method which will be searched by Java virtual machine, and then if it is available it will execute it. If it is not available, it will say there is no main function here. So let us take an example. Let me go to the NetBeans. Let me take a new program, file, new program, and Java application. Give the name of the, okay, just say next. Here you give the name of the program, simple one, and finish this program. If you look at this one, you have already a class called a simple one, and it is stored in the name of simple one only, with the same name as a class with an extension .java, and here it has a main function here. So let me write. In the last video I have just said system.out.println. So here I am going to display something called as hello world. Okay, so now if I run this application, what is going to happen here? JVM will look for a method called as main, and what is there inside this main will be executed. That is what has happened now. When I run this application, it has ran this simple one dot Java, and within that you have a main program, and you are printing hello world. So that hello world is printed here. Let me take an example. Let me make a modification here. If I say 1 in this place, so that means like I am changing the name of the main to main1. If I build this application, there won't be any error because it doesn't have a main program. At the time of running, it will look for the main, but when I am compiling, it is a correct program only actually. Now when I run this application, JVM will look for the main method, but here the main method is not there. The main method has been called as renamed as main1. So it will give an error saying that main method not found in the class simple1. Okay, please define the main method as follows. If you look at this one, it says that public void main string args. So always JVM will look for a method main in the same format. That is what it says here. The error also says that main method not found in the class simple1. Please define the main method as public static void main arguments. Okay, so if you look at this, any program JVM, when the any program is run, the Java will always look for a main method only. So that is what we are seeing here. If I am executing this program by changing the name of the main program, which means that I don't have a main. If I don't have a main, JVM will give an error saying that it doesn't have a main method, and the main method should be declared like this. Okay. Now this is how this is how it happens when I'm running the application. Java program is there, JVM loads the class, and JVM is looking for the main method, which is very similar to this format, and then executes it. If it doesn't find this particular method, it will give an error, as we have seen in the last slide. At the same time, we also saw this error in the program. Okay, now we'll go and analyze why this main method has to be declared as public static void main string args. So why, first let us analyze why this static keyword is used here. See, the main method, why main method should be declared in the Java should be declared as static. See, main method is declared as static because JVM calls this main method without creating an object of the class. Let me go to the program again. This is the program, and there is a class called as simple1, and this simple1 has this main method. Okay, so any class, the concept of the class is nothing but any class. If I wanted to access any member of the class, you should have an object. Without an object, we cannot call the any method, or we cannot access any data member in the class. So now I don't have an object at all. There is no object declared here. Okay, so without creating an object, it has to call this main method. So when you declare a main method as static, it will be available to you in the memory, and it will be called. Okay, so any method or data which is declared as static inside the class in Java, when the class is loaded, JVM static method is loaded in a separate memory location, which is called as heap area of the JVM. And now we have seen the internals of JVM before in the previous videos. There is in that memory area we had a area called as heap area. In that heap area, all the static variables will be, all the static variables or methods will be loaded there. Okay, so since main method is going to be is declared as static here. It will be loaded in the memory and it will be available for the execution. That's why main method is declared as static. Next, we'll just introduce something called as public, something called as access specifier. There are three access specifiers, which is public, private and protected. Public, any membered or any method or any data which is declared as public is accessible outside the class with an object. Any method or data which is declared as private, it is accessed within the class, but it is not accessible outside the class. Only the class member can access the can access the private variable. Protected, when I declare any data member or a function as a protected, these two things can be accessed by the class at the same time by the derived classes. We will come to know about what are derived classes little later in our videos. Why main method is declared as public? Since we got to know about what is public, private and protected, they are called as access specifiers, and these access specifiers are the meaning you have seen about the meaning about public, private and protected. Public is accessible outside the class with an object, private is not accessible outside the class, protected is basically between the class and the derived classes only. So now I am using this public when I am declaring the main function. So the main function is declared as public because it has to be accessed outside the class. So JVM can easily access it and execute it here. So then next is public return type is void because it doesn't return any value here. So that is the reason that public main function is always declared as public static void and then the main function with the arguments. Okay, so this is the reason why always main function will look into the same format only. So JVM will also look for the same format, which is public static void main. Now let us come to the other section of the Java language. We'll introduce something called as identifiers or variables. A name in a program is called as an identifier. Like for example, you can declare a variable name and that is actually called as an identifier here. Variable names are going to be used for declaring a variable by giving a name for a memory location of a certain type, and you can also use that name for storing the values inside that. And next one is keywords. Keywords are nothing but they are the words which is used by the program. For example, we have something called as go to, you have something called as import. So this import is actually a keyword, and this cannot be a variable name or it cannot be a identifier. Literals denotes a constant value. One is an integer literal, cat within double quotes is a string literal, a is a character literal here. Okay, see these are the examples of literals here. Literals are nothing but they denotes a constant value. Escape sequence, certain things are used by Java language which is very similar to our C or C++. When I say /n, it goes to the next line, it is a line feed. If I want to use a single quotes, we use /single quotes here. Primitive data types, we need to define any variable, we should have the data type name. Okay, for example, if I want to store an integer, I need a variable type name called as integer. So we have 8 primitive data types in Java language. okay, which is mentioned. They are also called as they are also reserved keywords which cannot be used as an variable name here. There are 8 primitive data types which is called as byte, short, integer, long, float, double, boolean and character. And byte is nothing but which can store the value from minus 128 to uh, plus 127 range. Okay, if like example, integer can store from this value to this value, 32 bit. Okay, long can store from this value to this value here. So depending upon how do you want to use the variable or what is the value which is going to be stored, based on that you can either use these variable data types here. Okay, so we have already seen about the variables before, literals, identifiers or variables here. Variables are nothing but they are the name which can be declared as one of the primitive data type, or which can be of type class or something like that. But we want to know about how these variables can be defined. The variables are names, and there are certain rules which we have to give, which you have to follow when you are giving the name. Variable name is a case sensitive in Java. Like for example, capital ABCD is a variable name, and lower ABCD is also a variable name, and both ABCD capital letters and ABCD lowercase letters both are different in Java, because Java is a case sensitive. Variable names can be declared by changing the cases. Variable can start with a letter, it can start with a dollar, and it can start with underscore. Name should not be a keyword. As we said, keyword is nothing. For example, we have used a keyword called as import, and import is a keyword, and I cannot use a name called as import as a variable name. Okay, so we can use proper format for naming that. For example, instead of declaring ABC here, I can say my name. This is the proper format. Okay, there are 4 types of variables. Instant variable, they are called as non-static variable. Okay, any variable declared without static keyword is actually called as an instant variable here. And you have classic or static variable, class or static variable, the variable declared with the class static keyword. Local variables are nothing but variables which is declared within the method, and parameters are nothing but the values which is going to be passed to the method. We'll see about all these 4 types of variables by writing a program. Again, let us come to Java language features. Java is a strongly typed language. Every variable needs to be declared before it is going to be used. Okay, so there is no implicit type conversion in Java. Okay, like for example, I cannot declare a float variable, I cannot store an integer inside that. Okay, but Java it is not possible. But in C or C++, I can declare a variable called as integer. If I store a float value there, only integer value will be taken. It is called as implicit type conversion. But in Java, you cannot store an integer value in the float. Variable initialization, we can do an initialization at the time of declaring, like integer x is equal to 10. And similarly, you can say dynamic initialization can be done like this. You can have integer x is equal to 10, y is equal to 20, and you can declare a variable called as z. And at the time of running only, this z value will have x and y added together, and then the value will be stored in z. This is actually called as dynamic initialization. And you have something called as symbolic constant. Final is a keyword which is used for which is very similar to symbolic constant. When I declare a variable final float pi is equal to this one, I am just declaring a variable called as pi with the value of this, okay, and I am declaring this pi as float, and I am declaring this float as final here, which means that this value cannot be changed anywhere in the program apart from these places. You can also declare final float p1 without initializing a value, but you can declare, you can assign a value only once in a program. You cannot assign more than once in the program here. So that is why this final is used here in the Java program, and this final keyword is actually called as a symbolic constant here. Now typecasting, I have an integer variable called as I, and the value stored is 200. Now as I said, if I have a float value variable, and I cannot store an integer variable value inside that, but you can typecast it by just saying float. This is very similar to your C or C++. And you can also use math class. Math will provide you max of it will provide you some functions where you can use max of x comma y, which is nothing but it will display the value whichever is the maximum value between x and y. We have something called as POW POW x comma y. This will display the value x power y. And there are something called as command line argument. At the time of running, you can pass the value to the main program. When a value is passed, and these values will come to this args, and these args can be used inside the program. This args is nothing but it's a variable of type string type, actually string array type. So these args can be used within the main. Every Java program will have a minimum of one class defined, as we said, and that particular class name will be same as the file name, .java file name, and we are going to run that particular class only, and that particular class will have the main method. Okay. Apart from that, you can declare different objects. You can define number of classes. We can also use that classes when you are running the application. Okay, let us execute some programs. Already we have seen one program execution in the last video. Okay, now let us take an second program. The first program we have already executed. If you want, we can just see one more time how to execute a program. So here you can create an application here, and this application, the project can be created, and this project will have all the sections whatever we have seen here, and this simple one is going to be the first application. Here I am just writing hello world. When I am running this application, you can see the class will be running. Okay, like we can just close this application. Run this application. You can just create a new application here. One, we'll call it as one here. Now I'm just going to run this application here. We'll see system.out.println. So when I am running this application, it is going to print hello world. So this is very simple application. So this is what is the first program which you wanted to execute here. When you are going through this particular video, you try out all the examples whatever I am showing you on in the video here. Okay, so let us take this as a first video here. Okay, first program here, and let me write another program, and the second program which we are going to write is going to be accept two numbers and display the sum. Okay, so there are okay, this is the name of the class. We can use the same class, or you can use a different class. I am going to type and show you how this program can be done. So one of the methods which we are using for getting the value from the keyboard is the scanner class here. So we are going to use the scanner class, and this scanner class is going to be available to you in java.util.scanner. So it is like a package which is already returned to us and it is given to us, and now what we are going to do is we are going to import it. So instead of saying import, we are going to say we are going to use it in the program, and we are going to write the program there. Okay. Okay, so now how do you use the scanner class? We have to declare a variable of scanner class, and you can use next line to get the value of the string, next byte, next short, next integer to get the integer value, long values, float value, double values, like that. So there are some functions here which we have to use it in our program. So I am going to do a program for getting two values, that is two numbers from the keyboard, and I wanted to display the sum of that. Okay, how do you write the program? Okay, so I am going to write the program now in the NetBeans. Let me start a new program. I will open a new project and call it as adding two numbers. I will call it as adding. So now you have a class called as adding, and you have a main function here. In this main function only I need to get the value from the keyboard. So I need to import the class. So all the import statements will come before the class here and within the package. So what I will do is import. What is the class to be imported here? java.util.scanner. So you have a scanner class, and you can give a semicolon here. So there are a lot of functions in the scanner class here, java.util.scanner. Basically java.util.scanner is a package which has lot of functions. Okay, and that functions I am going to use it in the main. That's why I am just saying import this one. When I say import here, that functions will be available to you at the time of running here. Okay, and you also have a warning symbol available to you here. In this case, it says that you have declared this package, that is you have imported this package and you are not using anywhere, unused import. So once I start using this scanner class within the main program, this warning will go off. Okay, so now what we will do is we will declare a scanner object. We will say scanner is the name of the class, and we will declare an s as a variable name. Now you see here I started using the scanner and the warning is gone. Previously if I don't use this one, you can see there is a warning which is available to you in the scanner class. So I will say scanner s. So once I declare a variable, automatically this has gone here, equal to new of scanner class, within that system.in. Why this system.in is used? You wanted to get the value from the keyboard, so we need to use system.in for the scanner class. Okay, so I have declared an object, and that object name is going to be yes, and this yes is not been used. That's the reason that, see, yes is a variable which is been declared and it is not been used. So that's why this error is coming. So once I start using this yes within this program, then it will stop doing it. So now what is my aim? I wanted to get two numbers from the keyboard. At the same time I wanted to add that and display the value on the screen. So how will I do that? So first just give a message system.out.println, just say enter an integer value. Okay, now what I have to do is I need to get the value here. So if I want to get the value, I need to have a variable. Let me declare two variables, a comma b, of integer type. So I am saying a is a variable of integer type, b is also a variable of integer type. Now using this scanner yes variable using the scanner object, I need to get the value of A and B here. So how will I use it? So you have to declare s dot. So now here you see in this place s dot, as we have seen in the slide also, s dot, there is a function called as next integer. This next integer is nothing but it is the value which will scan the integer value from the keyboard. So what I will do is I will use that s dot next integer. If you just say dot, next integer will come here. So it will return a integer value here, and the value which is returned from this function should be assigned to one of the variables. So A is equal to. So if I want to get the value from the keyboard, which is going to be an integer value, I will be using the scanner class called as s. I will use the function called as next int, and A is a variable which is going to be used to store the value whatever is returned back. Similarly, I should get the second value, right? So what I will do is I will copy the same thing here, second integer value, enter integer value, and here the second value is going to be stored in B. So there are two variables A and B here. I have used this two. Okay, now what I will do is I need to display the sum of this one. So system dot out dot println. We can do in many ways. One is you can declare a variable called as C. You can say C is equal to A plus B and use that C for displaying the value. Otherwise, directly use your expression inside the println statement. Within this, what I will say is the result of addition is. You come to this place. If I want to display A plus B, I will just say plus A plus B. So this is an expression. So this is an expression called as A plus B. This is going to be evaluated by the values A and B added together, and that is the result is going to get added to the string what I have typed here, and the value is going to be displayed as result of addition is going to be whatever is the addition. Okay. So that's all, our program is over. Now we'll run it and see. So now it is asking you enter an integer value as I said here. So let me enter something 12. Next, enter the second integer value. Let me call it as maybe 8. Okay. So what is the addition of this one? 12 plus 8 is equal to 20. So when I press enter here, the result of addition is equal to 20 here. So you can run the value, you can run this program n number of times by giving different variable names at a time, at different times here. So this is the program to use scanner, get the value from the keyboard which is going to be an integer variable, and then show, you do some operation on the integer variable and show the result on the screen. So for here in this program we have added these two values and displayed it here. Now let us go to the first program. We have seen small program which is going to be an simple hello world program. Second program is going to be adding two numbers. We just saw this adding two numbers. We also saw the result here. And let us go to the third program. Third program is accepting the name and displaying the program here. So you can see this program can be executed by you, and you can see that one. Enter your name. So before that you should have included your java.util.scanner, and that java.util.scanner will be imported here, and the class, there is a you can define a class here, and you can define a public static void, this one. Within this you declare a variable called a string. Okay, I have declared a variable called as x1 which is of string type. So in C language we have character array for storing the string and you use getS, but here we have a variable type called a string where you can use you can use this one for getting the string value. So here you declare a scanner variable type, okay, and you declare an object of scanner variable, and then system.out.println, enter your name. This will accept, that is like in dot, that in is nothing but is an object of scanner. So that in dot next line is nothing but it is to get the string from the keyboard. So you get the string and store it in x1, and system.out.println, my name is x1, that x1 is going to be printed, whatever value you have stored here. Quickly I'll run this application and show you. Instead of getting the value here as a string, in the same program I will add string name. Okay, so here what I will do is I'm just going to get the value from the keyboard. I'm not using the other variables. We'll say name is equal to s dot next line. This is going to return a string here. So you get the string from the keyboard and display that string name. Okay, so instead of saying enter the integer value, enter your name. Okay, now if you run this application, what is going to happen here? You have declared a variable called a string. You have scanner variable, scanner object also is declared here. You are displaying a message, enter your name. A name is accepted from the keyboard by using object s dot next line, and the name is nothing but it's a string variable which will hold your name. When I run this application, it is going to show you the result of addition. Sorry, your name is something. Your name is Nam. Okay, let me run this application and show you here. When I am running this application, it is asking you what is your name. So my name is Raju. So if I type this Raju here, and when I press enter, your name is going to be Raju. It says your name is Raju. Whatever I entered here, it is going to show you here. If you want, I can run it and with a different name here. My name is ABCD. So if I say your name is ABCD, it displays. So any string which you want to get it from the keyboard, then you can declare a scanner object like this and use this scanner object with next line function and store the value in this, and you can use it in your program. Here I am using it for this display. Okay, so this is actually the third program which is explained here in this place. Next, so you can use system.in and system.out. Okay, system.in is nothing but which we are using it in the scanner program to get the value from the keyboard. If you want to display something on the screen, we use system.out. Have you used system.out in our program? Yes, we have used it. We can see this in the program, system.out. Then I am using a function called as println. Okay, so you can use either system.in or system.out. So in and out are nothing but they are the static variables declared in the system class. Okay, you can just try this java.lang.math for a max class. You can use this math class here. Now let us come to the program 5, which is nothing but command line arguments. How do you use this string array args? Okay, so basically args is nothing but it is a variable of string array type. Okay, so that means, like for example, when I am having a command line.java, there is a program which I have written here. We will be writing this program now in NetBeans, and we are going to see how to run the application. So in the basically when you, in your command prompt, if you are writing this one, we will compile this program. When I am running this application, what you can do is java.command line. Command line is nothing but it is a Java program, and you pass arg1 and arg2. So what I'm doing in this command line is nothing but I'm displaying this R1 and R2. So that is what is displayed here. But how do you write this one in NetBeans? Let us see this when I'm writing in this program. Okay, so let me start a new program for command line. I'll open a new project, call it as command line. Command line aux. So already existing, so I'll use command line. I will say finish here. So it will open a program. Okay, so I'm just wanted to show you how to use this string aux, string array aux. So here nothing has to be imported here. I'm just going to display the value of this one. So system dot out dot println. So here you can just say the values are, like for example, command line values are, I can say plus args, that is args is nothing but it's a variable name and it is of string type, as you know, a string array type. So string, as you know, the array will always start with 0 here. So we'll say first line, first value, whatever you are passing it as an array type, we'll display it here. We'll give a next line character here, which is nothing but /n. So this we have seen in our escape sequence. /n is an escape sequence here, which I am using it here, and then I will say args of 1 here. What I am doing here is I am going to pass two values here. The first value will be printed, command line values are this, and the second line will be printed, in the second line the second value will be printed here. If I just run this application, it is going to give an error saying that you have not passed values to this. You have not passed any value to this. Now how do you pass these values here? When I am running it, so what you have to do is you have to go to this command line arc. Okay, right click on this and go to the properties. When you go to the properties, go to this run category, and here you have something called as arcs. So let me call it as two values. I will pass it here. One is ABCD and EFGH. You can give space between two arcs. So when I am giving space here, this is going to be the first value, that is arcs of 0, and this is going to be the second value, this is arcs of 1. So after giving this, when I am running this application, you can see that command line values are ABCD is the first argument, and since we are given /n, it will go to the next line, and there it is going to print the second value, which is EFGH. So the command line argument within our NetBeans, you can give it here in this case. If you are writing it in the command prompt, directly you can give it as we have seen in the example here in this case. Okay, so you can use your command line arguments like this. Well, always this is going to be a string array, and arcs of 0 is going to be a string, arcs of 1 is going to be string. Suppose assume that you want to get two numbers from the keyboard as a command line argument and you wanted to add it. So what should I do that? How will I do this addition here? We need to convert our string to integer, then we need to add it. Okay, so that we will see in the future classes here. Okay, so this is 5 programs we have executed. Out of 5 we have executed four programs, and fourth one I'm just giving it for you to practice. Next we will come to the review questions. Why my main method is public, static and void. Okay, and you should know about why this has been written as public and static and void function. Define the structure of the Java program. Of course it is straightforward question. How many primitive data types are there? Chart out the difference between each of them. Of course you can get that. define a variable, and what are the four different types of variables are there. There are four types of variable we have seen. What do you mean by symbolic constant? What are escape sequence and how it is used? We have seen how to use /n. Okay, explain about final keyboard. So what you need to do is you have to execute all the programs, okay, whatever we have explained in our in this video. Okay, so comment your questions in the comment line, and then I will be happy to answer you. Okay, thank you for this second video. This is the end of the second video. Thank you. Bye.